it's Dustin with Tech MD. I had a customer bring in a Motorola Z4 the other day, and he claimed that someone replaced the lens and it's not coming out clearly. So we're going to replace the camera lens, camera, and battery, and all in one shot. So I always recommend doing battery replacement if your phone is over 3 years old, and this phone is definitely over 3 years old. So we're going to be doing that. And so we're going to start off with putting it on the heater. Anyway, so we're going to make sure the phone's off and put it flat down on the glass. This is not for your typical amateur. You do need to have a little bit of advanced skills opening up screens without breaking them. This one is extra tricky because it's really glued down. You're going to need consistent heat without using a heat gun. I don't think a heat gun will work very well unless you're super skilled with a heat gun and have experience with a heat gun. But overall, I just recommend these the pads here. You can do directed heat. I have 90 degrees Celsius on this, and we're just going to wait about 3 minutes for the screen to warm up the whole entire phone, and then we'll start separating. So these are some of the tools that we're going to need. Probably a T4, iPlastix, which you can find these in the links in the description below. By buying these parts, you'll help us out. And this is the iFlex tool, battery, rear camera, and the camera lens. And then alcohol is going to be very helpful removing that battery as well. So now that we get it hot to the touch, totally forgot to, oops, put my microphone on, but it's on now as usual. So we're gonna just go ahead and run along the glass and the plastic frame. But we wanna actually highlight, we're gonna go between the plastic frame and the metal frame. It'll make our life much easier. Less risk to the screen. I forget some devices have this. Some of the Google Pixels also do this. I'm just slicing around here. Let's see if we can get some leverage now under it. Just twisting a little bit, just a little bit, but not too much, guys. I don't want to break that screen. Let's do it over here now. And then we're going to just lift up here. Just run your tool along the side. In order to test your screen to make sure you didn't break it, you would have to wait for it to cool down, so we'll just test it after we've already replaced the rear camera. Let's get a plastic tool here. Lift up the screen and put it up and over the frame. Let's try to remove this piece of plastic, and don't put your finger here either. It's your fingerprint reader. Don't put your finger there either. Carefully lift up this with a nice flat plastic tool. And it'll lift up with ease. It's giving you struggle, you're probably using the wrong tool. This is very easy to break, and we fix them if you do break them, so just be careful. Okay. If this is already out of your league, you can totally send in your phone. Let's go ahead and remove this piece here. Now, if you don't need to replace your camera, you're going to skip ahead to where I do the battery replacement. Not sure if the camera's under there or not, but we're going to stop digging. Okay, we're going to get our Torx driver and start removing some of these screws. T3, T4 should work just fine. I tend to use a size lower than the screws are built for. They work really good for this driver I have. Now that you got the screws removed, except for this one doesn't pop out, not a problem, it's loose though. Just gonna make sure I cover that so when I unclip this, we don't have a screw flying. I'm just checking underneath here, make sure I'm not pulling any cables away. Looks like it's fine. I think it is, okay, good. Yeah, the camera definitely feels, it looks like it has a fingerprint on it. The camera lens looks pretty good, but we're gonna replace it anyways because it was replaced by a third party. And we don't know who that third party was. So this is, we're gonna replace the camera lens and also the battery at the same time, but if you're doing just the camera lens, you put alcohol just in there. If you're replacing just the battery, you have to put alcohol in between the battery as well. So the next step is let's get the battery prepared to be removed. If you're not doing battery, please skip this, but I highly recommend doing it. This is going to have to be completely removed out of our way, most likely. So we're just going to cut that off. We'll try to save that graphite as much as we can. Go ahead and disconnect the battery. Or we remove the shield, now we disconnect the battery. And as you can see here, battery is in pretty tight. You're using metal tools, just a heads up that it could puncture your battery and cause explosion. So be very cautious when doing this. If this is your first rodeo with battery. As you can see here, the battery is really not doing much. So we definitely need alcohol. The next step is to put a little alcohol along here. 99%. That way you don't have to worry about the motherboard. It dries up quickly, especially when you're using a heat gun or using a heater. This is going to help soften up that adhesive. And then we're going to just put a little bit of alcohol right here as well to help loosen up that back camera lens. And we're going to put it on our heat. We're going to up our temperature to 120. I like to always go maximum to make it go as quick as possible. Now if yours is on Fahrenheit, you can change it to Celsius here. With pressing certain button combination, it was kind of fun to figure it out, but just overall it's like around 250, I think, Fahrenheit. We just want to get it nice and toasty here for about 5 minutes. If your battery's expanding, be careful because those can catch on fire. Fires happen very often when it comes to batteries if you puncture them, so best to not do that. Okay, now that we got our Device hot enough, we're going to go ahead and take it off. And this should pop out, no problem. If it's giving you a little bit of trouble, you can put some more alcohol under there. But no trouble for me. And then just use some like a plastic tool here and push that out. If you got it hot enough, it'll come right out. Then we can start putting this back together. So first things first is the lens. We got our lens here. Looks like we're going to need to remove this middle piece here too. Obviously, you want to do that while it's nice and warm. Put our flash sensor back in. Put our adhesive down. Not very good adhesive. I'll probably use my own brand of adhesive. Screw that stuff. Yeah, use some T7000. Oh yeah. Obviously, we don't want to touch the inside. See if we can get this camera lens over. Can't seem to get it over there. I know I'm probably covering the camera, but not much I can do. Trying to get this lens over it. Just try and twist it here so I can get properly aligned. There we go. Alright, as soon as we flip this over, we're going to put the new camera in. So we want to make sure this is ready to come out and out of its packaging and ready to install. Alright, we're going to flip this over and let's go ahead and get... What? Oh, it flips over like that. What a weird camera. Plug it in this way, and flip it over, and voila. It's very strange. Go ahead and get the top clipped in here. Doesn't exactly want to sit flush here. I'm doing wrong. Possibly this adhesive is in the way. So we're going to just move that out of the way. Yep, the adhesive was in the way. See how that looks. So we got a fingerprint on the outside, it looks like. We're going to take a real quick rag and wipe our fingerprint off. Looking really clear now. Good. Make sure it didn't get on the inside somehow. Okay, next is our battery. Now there's enough adhesive there to hold down an elephant, so we don't really need to move that. So first things first is I'm just going to connect the battery before setting it down. Okay, it's connected, and then I set it down. Go ahead and connect this piece here. Sure the sensor is back on there properly. There we go. Looks like everything's connected. Take our screen. All right. So we wiggle that connection. You kind of just have to. It's hard to see on the main camera. Just kind of line it up with the screen. With your, just holding this and just wiggling it in. That's what I do. And then the final push, just make sure it goes in as far as possible. I'm literally just wiggling the cable this way as much as possible. And we take our flat tool, plastic, and push down carefully. It should give you a little bit of resistance. All right. I'm gonna make sure screen's good, battery's good, and camera's good. All right. Oh. Camera looks good. Battery's good. Looks like we did a good job. And I just run a little bit of T7000 over the original adhesive, just to ensure a good seal. Any excess that runs out, not a problem. Don't cover your microphone hole. There's a hole right there and you didn't want to cover it. There's another hole with a sensor. Just a nice line of T7000. Nice line here. Make sure it's adhesive running everywhere. It's fine now. Make sure nothing got on that fingerprint sensor reader, and they should be able to stick this down. And take a rag with some alcohol, clean it up, and put some pressure down if you need to. Maybe rubber bands, tape. If it's set and flush and it's not coming up, then you don't need to do that. That's it, guys. Well, this is a long video, and I had a crazy customer come by, and anyways, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. More detailed videos coming in the future. See you guys.